Okay, so I was tasked last week to have a look and assess an OJT book, and I was really impressed. I do get a lot of OJT books to assess, and some of them are better than others, and this one was probably the best one I've had in a very long time. And I thought, well, since it's such a good example of how things should be, why don't I make a little presentation of it, of what assessors are looking for. So I discussed this with Wendy, and we said, right, let's make it a thing. Let's have a meetup, and let's have a brief discussion on what assessors are looking for, and why it's not such a big thing, but sometimes it is such a big thing for some people. So without further ado, I've got, don't know if you can see, this is a picture of the OJT, thickness of it. It's about 1.5 centimeters thick, and just so you can fathom an idea of 4 centimeters thick of accompanying tasks to the OJT book. So this guy's been very thorough. He's done everything by the book. And when we say by the book, let's set a few ground rules. The OJT book, the title of it and the contents of it is irrelevant. Doesn't matter what it is. You have to pay attention to the front matter, where within the front matter is the instructions for the assessor and the instructions for the student. Okay, so this one in particular is a Boeing 737NG restriction removal OJT. So a guy had restrictions on his license. He had a B1 with electrical restrictions. So he did a theory course, and he did a POC. But because it was the first of category, he had to do a extra OJT. So he's a qualified B1. He's just removing some electrical restrictions. The reason I'm giving you this rundown is because the assessor, when making the assessment, has to take in who he's assessing and on what basis he's assessing the candidate. And the reason I say he's a qualified B1 means that probably 20% of the tasks in that book, by default, he could sign them, because he already holds a B1, albeit with restrictions, type rating. So what we're assessing him is on the B2 tasks of that book. But as you know, it's very hard to distinguish a pure B1 task and or a pure B2 task, because now with the evolution of aircraft, all mechanical systems are now electromechanical systems, and therefore the hardest core, even the toilets have computers now. So the hardest core B1 stuff has B2 stuff attached to it now, so it's really hard to segregate B1 completely out of the picture and concentrate on B2 tasks. So with that in mind, you take the candidate, you might know the candidate, you might not know the candidate. An interjection quickly here, how the authorities make these or classify these OJT books. So under EASA regulations, an OJT book is assessed by the authority. Okay, because it comes under 145, because it is a 145 book. It is on practical tasks performed in a work environment. Okay, CASA have deemed it it's a 147 course. So you the training organization apply, you submit a course plan, a TNA, and the OJT book you intend to provide the candidate, and a procedure in which you want your OJT procedure to be, and then they will give it a course number, and regardless of if it's a course or not, it's classified as a course with a course number, and the 147 assessor is the guy who's doing the assessment on behalf of the 147. So CASA have washed their hands of every responsibility. They leave everything on the 147. The 147 leaves everything on the assessor. So today I'm it. Okay? So that's how I became an assessor, because under IASA rules you could never become an OJT assessor because they are assessed by the authority. So OJT for under IASA 145, OJT under CASA is a 147. So what am I looking for? I take the information. This is the student. I might know him, I might not. If I don't know him, I try to get to know him. Try to get to see what his qualifications are, how long he's been in the business, so that I can get an idea of what he knows, basically, without ever having met him. All right? And then I take the book and I start looking at what am I really looking for. Okay, I hope that he's read the front matter, that he's understood what the task is at hand. And as we said, the front matter has instructions for the assessor and instructions for the candidate as well. And by following the rules, both his job and my job can be accomplished on this one thing. So I'm looking for clear and concise writing. Okay, it's usually block capitals, it's usually black ink. I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours just trying to read the tasks, because I get paid by the book, and it's not a lot of money, and I don't want to spend a week assessing it to get paid a couple of hours work. So it's got to be the easier you make it for the assessor to assess, the less pissed off you'll get the assessor, and the more chances are you'll get your book done first go. So what's first thing? Concise, clear handwriting. The second thing the assessor's looking for is variation. Okay, we're looking into we don't want 1,000 tasks of removal installations and that's it, or we don't want 6 months of pushbacks or refueling, walkarounds, daily checks and refuelings, and that's it. What we're looking for is variation in the tasks. So we're looking for service and ground handling tasks. Yeah, a good ratio. We're looking for removal installation tasks. We're looking for function tests tasks. We're looking for MEL tasks, procedures, and troubleshooting tasks. Now, when we come to function tasks, then this is where sometimes people abuse the system, and that's one thing you've got to avoid, guys. Never piss the assessor off and get caught cheating, because if you do, it'll be the end of the book and you'll get given the book back and you'll have to do it again, and that assessor won't ever trust you again and will go through your book with a fine-tooth comb. So what do I mean by get caught cheating? Hang on. In terms of a function test, you could have, for the same component, a byte test. If it was an Airbus, a ground scanning test, an operational test, an LRU replacement test. These are all bona fide tests for the same component you can have, yeah, in an OEM manual, in the AMM. So what you don't want to do is use two tests for the same entry, for the same event, twice. because you might get away with it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, but if there's 500 tasks to do, eventually you'll get caught out. And if you get caught out, the assessment will stop there, and the assessor will go back to chapter 21, go back to the start, and do every single one, see what function tests you've done, to see if you've got duplication of tasks. All right, so I'm just telling you that these are just the things that we look for, and these are the things you just got to avoid. All right. What else are we looking for? Cross references. So your cross references, this guy, these are his cross references for every section in the book. I don't know if you can see there, but here it says chapter 21. Okay, so he's got all these types, not very many, because he's doing an electrical restriction. So there's not very many for 21 because it's a mechanical. He's already typed on this, but he's done this amount of tasks. Chapter 22, that's the autopilot. Chapter 23, comms. Chapter 24, and it goes on and on and on and on up to chapter 80. So he's done a really good job. So for example, in his OJT book, task 21.1, he's put a reference here, 21.1. This is the task. This is the tech log or the training, sorry, not the training, the work order or the task card he's worked to, which includes the registration of the aircraft, the task with the AMM reference, and a signature by him and the guy who supervised him, which is important because every item in the book needs to have a signature from a supervisor who's supervising the work. Okay, now so try and make it as easy to find. Don't cheat, concise and clear handwriting. And then the assessor usually will go through it overall. It'll take, I don't know, half an hour just to go through every task and have a look at it. And then does a couple of sample checks. Okay, we'll pick out, if we're doing an electrical restriction removal, I'll pick out a 2022, one task in 22, one task in 23, one task in 24, one task in 34, and one task in 46. And I will, that sample, I want to see he's got the correct AMM reference, he's got the correct data, he's made the entry correct, he's put the task down correct, he's used the correct AMM reference. I don't know if I said that. It's got a signature against it, and he's put the description in a legible way, and everything ties up. If he's done that and it's signed, just been thrown out.
No, you haven't.
My picture's gone when? Can somebody give...
I can see you, Chris. You're there still.
Yeah, well, here we go. I don't know what happened there, guys. My picture just went poof. Okay, my phone rang and my picture just went poof. So, sample check. You do one. If it's clean as a whistle, then you relax a bit. If it's not clean as a whistle and you've got to do some digging, then you'll be more thorough with the second one. But if the first one's clear, you relax a bit, you do the second one, maybe one more. If everything's clean as a whistle, the book is good. The guy has shown that he understands the system. He understands what the principle is. And the principle is simple. We, the training school or the authority, require you to do these tasks. All right? The easier way you present that you've done these tasks, the quicker you've presented us with what we require, the quicker we'll sign off your book. That's it. All right. There are a few provisos, like one question I hear every day is how much experience do I need to do? How many tasks do I need to do for this restriction or this job? Or how many? And the answer is universal. Is universal by every assessor, every instructor, every authority. The answer is monolectic and universal. Enough. You're going to say, well, what does that mean? It's simple. Till I'm satisfied. All right? So if I say you need to do 10 tasks, don't do 9, do 11. Okay? That's simple rule. Yeah, if especially with OJT books that have discounts, like this one has because the guy did a POC as well, he only has to do 25% of the tasks in the book. So if you only need to do 25% of the tasks in the book, don't do 24%, do 26%, because you're going to get rejected. And it's a shame to get rejected, because then you go through a new assessment process and you pay a new fee. So that's it's a matter of following the rules, and it's not about cutting corners. It's about simple following the rules. If they give you a discount, then enjoy the full luxury of it and follow the instructions you're given. Okay, so that's what we do with the sample check. Other things that I look for is how long did it take you? So you go through, when you're making your assessment, you go through the tasks. If it's this OJT book is like, I'd say about 200 tasks, okay, for the 25% discount. If you did it in 2 days, something fishy is going on. Okay, so it has to be in a timely manner that the assessor can say, hang on a minute, how did he do 200 tasks under supervision? Not simulation. OJT is actual tasks, on the job. How did he do 200 tasks in 2 days? It's not possible. So somewhere something is wrong. Therefore, do it in a timely manner. You might have done 50 tasks in one night. I don't know, you're doing inspections or you're doing function tests, and you're in the cockpit, you've got all the task cards for an A-check, function test. Chapter 22, bang, 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 function test. Chapter 23, test. Chapter 24, yeah, that's fine, but spread them out. Okay? Spread them out. Don't put everything in 2 days, because it puts question in the assessor's head. All right, so spread the tasks out, spread the dates. You're there for a whole shift. You're there for you're a permanent employee. So spread it out a bit, so that there won't be any repercussions. More is better. Okay, always provide more. Less is no good. Okay, less is the assessor's wanting more, okay, and it's not there. So what's he going to do? He can't. There's no oral exam where he can say, "Oh, here you're missing a bit. Let's talk about it and see what you know." This is it. So always provide more, that rather than not enough. Okay. That's it. Now, again, another question I get a lot is, or what you see on Facebook sites and everything is, the OJT, I'm having problems getting the OJT. Which authority is the easiest OJT to complete and all that? And the answers to these questions are very simple. The OJT you're going to go with is the authority of the NAA you're doing the training with, and the NAA in the country in which you intend to get a job with. you know. So what's the point in doing a Slovakian OJT book for your basics, part 66, and then you finish it in under a Slovakian IASA 145 environment, it's all hunky-dory, and then you say, right, I'm gonna FU Slovakian NAA, I'm gonna go to Hungary now, yeah, and I'm gonna apply with them, yeah, and get my my IASA license with the Hungarian, yeah, with the Hungarian NAA. It's, first of all, it raises questions. Why is the candidate doing this? And it causes delays and it causes problems. So, bit of advice: the OJT book is an ongoing process. So when you get it from whoever, if it's the training school, or if it's from the authority, or if it's from the company, or whoever it's from, try at that moment to establish a relationship with them. Okay? Don't surprise the authority one day with 2 years later with the book and say, "Ta-da, remember me, you gave me a book, an OJT book 2 years ago. Here it is with 4,000 entries." You know? Keep the contact up. Keep the relationship alive so that when you actually submit, they know who you are from a bar of soap, from the other 10,000 applications they've got, because the other 9,999 didn't have a rapport with them, yeah, and they're all strangers, and they'll go at the bottom of the pile. But if they know you, then they'll process you a bit quicker. All right. So that's how OJT books get reviewed. That's what assessors are looking for. I hope it was a little bit of an insight on how you should look forward to filling your book. I'm gonna, as I said, put the recording of this as a resource so you can watch it again and get references, or make a new recording of this, maybe with some presentation examples of what exactly we're talking about. For legal reasons, I can't here because it's somebody's OJT book, but I can do a full one, but a made up one, if you know what I mean, for training purposes. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions regarding what we talked about and not specific about authorities, and I'll take them. Otherwise, wait for the resource to come out in the next couple of days, weeks. Any questions, anyone?